Hey everyone, it's Jessie Mon. This is my field experience report. I teach second grade at Willow Springs Elementary. I have a class of 22 students. 20 of them are native English speakers and 2 of them are non-native English speakers. Both of my non-native English speakers are new to the district this year. I have a student whose first language is French, and she's actually tested out of the ELL program and is very proficient in all areas of English. My second non-native speaker speaks Spanish as his native language, and he is a level 4 on the WIDA scale. He's actually one of my lower readers when it comes to fluency, but he's very proficient in reading, comprehension, speaking, listening, and writing as well. So as far as parent situation goes, my French speakers' parents both speak French, but they also speak English, so communicating with them is fairly easy. As far as my Spanish speaker goes, his mom speaks only Spanish and very minimal English, so communicating with her is fairly difficult. He has 2 older siblings at home that speak pretty good English and Spanish and can translate back and forth, so that helps a little bit, but for the most part it's pretty difficult. We have parent-teacher conferences coming up this week, so I have a translator coming to help with the communication barrier. So my class is with me for the majority of the day, unless they're going to one of their rotations like PE, library, art, computers, or if they're receiving services because of an IEP. So we spend the majority of our day doing various language arts activities and math activities, and occasionally we'll throw in some science and social studies activities. The biggest difficulty for my ELLs, as well as all of my students, is the vocabulary that goes along with all of the learning areas. So for this assignment, I've kind of chosen to take the approach that we are all English language learners, especially my cute little second graders. So my first 2 examples come from my non-native speakers, and then my last example comes from my native English speakers. So my first one comes from my French speaker, so although she's very proficient in all areas, if there's still a few things that I notice when she talks to me. So for my first example, it's she tends to need to go to the bathroom a lot, and whenever she tells me she needs to go, she comes up to me and says, "I going to bathroom now." So there's quite a few errors in this sentence. I'm assuming that because there's no phoneme in the French language that she replaces it with a phoneme that's familiar to her, the phoneme, which is why it comes out as bathroom instead of bathroom. She also omits the linking verb am, and I don't know much about French, but if it's anything like Spanish, they don't use linking verbs like am, so that's probably why she omits the I am going to the bathroom and just says I going. And then she also omits the determiner the, and I'm not sure why she does this. I have no explanation for it, but I have other students who also omit the determiner the when asking to use the bathroom. So they say, "Can I go to bathroom?" And it must be something that second graders do. They omit the determiner. So in this case, I don't point out her errors. I usually just answer her question using the correct phoneme and without omitting the linking verb and the determiner. So I would answer her, "Yes, you can go to the bathroom." So my second example comes from my Spanish speaker. And when he says my name to get my attention, he adds a z to the end of it. So he'll say something like, "Mrs. Mons, I need help." So in this case, I don't know if he's generalizing and adding the plural morpheme to anything that he can, or if he's heard from others, "Oh, you're in Mrs. Mons' class," and he doesn't quite understand the possessive form of words yet, and so he uses that as my name, Mrs. Mons. On the plus side, he uses the correct assimilation rule and uses the z phoneme instead of the s because the final sound in mon is voiced. It could also be that I just have a difficult name. I have another student who calls me Mrs. Moggin, and I mean there's a G in my name, so why wouldn't you pronounce it, right? So I may just need to spend more time with my name at the beginning, especially with my English language learners, because it doesn't look like it's pronounced. Doing activities with my name or just having them repeat it more often. I could also provide him with a Spanish word that sounds similar to my name to help him be able to remember what my name sounds like. So my last example comes from the majority of my native English speakers. So we have data folders where we keep track of our test scores and other data. And it's an ongoing argument in our class as to whether the correct pronunciation is data or data. So I'll say, get out your data folders, and they'll all say, it's data folders. So my students don't understand that there are allophones of some phonemes that don't change the meanings of words if you say them a different way. So whether we say data or data, it still means the same thing. I try to explain to them that people say things differently, and it doesn't mean they're saying it wrong, they're just saying it differently. So those are my 3 examples from my fieldwork.